You know what goes great with loaches? Red wine. Hello, Taras here. Welcome to another episode of our running series, What is a Fish? Today we're going to be talking about one of our most requested fish families that we have yet to cover. This is the loaches, specifically the boteid loaches. This is the family Boteidae. They're a lot different than the more elongated covidid loaches you might recognize, like the dojo loaches or the coolie loaches, and they're certainly not like the baltorids, like the hillstream loaches that we covered in a different episode. These are the boteid loaches, and they're represented by some of the most charismatic members of the aquarium industry. So these are clown loaches, the most charismatic and hallmark species of this family. This family, like the other loaches, radiate from Southeast Asia, the island nations of Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, the Philippines, and upwards toward the Southeast Asian continent. They inhabit all kinds of river systems. What they specialize in is being adept hunters of worms, snails, and other invertebrates. So you can see here, these clown loaches are very social. They like to be in little groups, and they're designed to be all along these tropical river bottoms, constantly sifting with their barbels through the substrate, looking for delicious protein and fat-rich prey items. So for that reason, they are really quite fun to observe in the tank because, like a lot of other species, they're always out grazing once you get them to eat. Now, one of the big drawbacks to the species is that most people will buy them, spend a good amount of money on them because they are so attracted by these wonderful colors, but then they'll end up not seeing them for days or weeks at a time, even if the clown loach has not died in the tank. And that's because these guys are nocturnal. They're also very skittish. You have to keep in mind that they evolved in water bodies that are much more turbid and not necessarily with crystal clear water. So if we have a very bright illuminated aquarium with not a lot of hiding spots, they can easily be too spooked, especially because of the price. People will often only buy one or two of these. And as you can see here, they clearly are social, living in larger groups. And it's a great way to actually see them because the more of them that you have in your aquarium, the more that they'll be comfortable being in a group and swimming out and around. A couple great things about the clown loaches and the yo-yo loaches and the boteid loaches is that they're ravenous snail feeders. So if you have any pest snails like bladder snails, or even like a ram's horn snail population which has gotten too big, or maybe you just want to cull a little bit from your planted aquarium so there's not too many snails, this is a great way to deliver a sustainable live feed source directly to your boteid loaches and your clown loaches. Because otherwise they really do require a ravenous diet of either high quality frozen feeds like Akari frozen bloodworms, and then also premium live feeds such as Lumbriculus variegatus, the blackworm. These are great live feed prey items that will really assist in making your clown loaches much more active and present in your aquarium, because that's why you got them in the first place, to see them and enjoy them. It's also important to consider that this particular species can get quite large. It can grow quite a few inches in length over time, albeit they are very, very slow growers in their own right. But once they get to this size, they become extremely valuable because this species was overfished a little bit for the aquarium trade, but mostly because of its value as a food fish. And thus, techniques had to be undergone to breed it for the natives of its country to feast upon it, and then for us to be able to produce a sustainable source of them for the aquarium trade. But unlike a lot of the fish species that we feature here on What is a Fish, these guys can't really be bred easily in just a straight aquaria. There's not really a wet, dry seasonal cycle you can mimic. There's not really a temperature drop you can mimic that'll predictably get the females to make eggs and then do spawning behavior. So the trick to breeding these clown loaches, for instance, is getting really big individuals, knowing the sex of those individuals by taking blood samples, and then knowing their gender, and then injecting them with actually a carp hormone. So that way they can induce ovulation artificially in the females, and then they'll be put in the ponds. And the reason I mention that is because the clown loach is one of those fish that is extremely lucrative to farm, both in its home region and then in other areas such as South America and even Florida, where it's been introduced as an aquaculture species. The Boteidae, the clown loaches, yo-yo loaches, great compressed shape, really charismatic swimmers. Get a few of them if you want them not to be all spooked, have lots of structure in your aquarium if you don't want them to be overly stressed. But otherwise, they are a majestic bottom feeder and recommended for anyone that's looking to add a high quality fish to their tank. So, as always, if there's any particular fish species, families, or aquarium subjects that you'd like us to cover, like, subscribe, feed the algorithm like it was a hungry yo-yo loach slurping up a snail, comment below and visit us at osachoice.com to pick up all the supplies needed to house this species and many more.